So I hope that everyone will be able to join all the sessions, 4 sessions, so that at least you know what is in this chapter, and so it is not forever going, but for whatever reason, if you do miss, then I would encourage to uh, listen and watch at least. So because definitely we will try to finish the chapter, the second chapter within these 4 sessions. Um, so at least, yeah, you know the whole content of the chapter, and also by understanding whole content of the chapter, then maybe it can connect you, or you find some part of that or all of them helpful, beneficial, that you can apply in your practice, and so then it become helpful and meaningful. Okay. So in the first chapter, we discuss about the benefit of the awakening mind, the Bodhisattva mind, and so in the second chapter, the chapter of disclosing the negative karmas, negative actions, or in other words, it is the chapter on purifications. Chapter on purifications. So again, the whole path to the enlightenment is cultivating the Bodhisattva mind, and once we have cultivated the Bodhisattva mind, then engage in the Bodhisattva practice, such as 6 perfections. Okay, and then in the first chapter, before we generate the Bodhisattva mind, then we have to understand the benefit of generating Bodhisattva mind, why we need to generate Bodhisattva mind. So then that is explained in the first chapters. And we, as we already discussed, the Bodhisattva mind is, everything's, if you want to, it is, if you want to benefit yourself, we have to practice Bodhisattva. If you want to benefit others, practice Bodhisattva. For short-term happiness, practice Bodhisattva. Long-term happiness, practice Bodhisattva. If you want to, purify, Bodhisattva is the best form of purifications. If you want to accumulate merit, Bodhisattva is the best way to accumulate merit, and Bodhisattva is key to everything. And so therefore, he explained very clearly. And once we understand the benefit, then we try to practice to cultivate the Bodhisattva mind. And once we have cultivated the Bodhisattva mind, then we try to maintain it without losing it, because it can be lost, if we don't continue to practice. Even we generate the Bodhisattva mind, we can lose it until we reach certain point. When you reach certain point, then then you don't lose anymore. There's no more coming back. You don't lose it. But until we reach that stages on our path, even we have generated loving kindness, compassion, Bodhisattva mind, unless we continue to work on that, then it can be kind of lost, And so therefore, in order to those who have already cultivated the Bodhisattva mind, also, we need to maintain it and try to improve it, to maintain and improve it, so that it becomes more stronger and stronger, better and better, the Bodhisattva mind. In order to maintain it, of course, we need to continue to meditate, practice. But also we need other supporting factors to help the practice, to help the meditations. And so that is, we need to purify all the obstacles for the bodhicitta to maintain and to improve and to increase it. There are obstacles, internal obstacles. So we need to purify that, And so therefore, that is where the second chapter comes, And not only we need to purify all the obstacles, we need to gather all the conducive conditions, support of the conducive condition, cooperation conditions. And then for that, we need to accumulate the virtues of the merit, and such as through the practice of rejoicing and so forth. And so then, then third chapters comes, So second and third chapter together, it is to help to maintain and improve the bodhicitta mind for those who have already cultivated. And for those who have not cultivated the bodhicitta mind, of course, we need to cultivate the bodhicitta mind. And to cultivate the bodhicitta mind, the main thing is continue to contemplate and meditate and practice on the bodhicitta by using, different meditations, whether we use equalizing exchange and self method, or whether you use another method such as 7 point of cause and effect, whatever different method we use, but by using those different techniques, those different methods, we try to meditate and practice to generate and cultivate the bodhicitta mind. But for the success of the practice, for the success of the meditations, so that we can really have realizations, then again, we need to purify all the obstacles and need to accumulate the merit. And so therefore, again, chapter 2 and 3 comes as a way to support those practice, So for those practice are necessary for those who are trying to cultivate bodhicitta, and also for those who have already cultivated, but to maintain and to improve. Even the high realized bodhisattvas, they continue to practice purification and accumulation of merit as well. So for us, for beginner, definitely even more, we need to do even more, And so therefore, that is where Shanditava start. So in terms of the second chapter, then, second chapter, there is offerings, and then prostrations, and going to refuge, and then purifications. And the main focus is the purifications, purification offerings, but main focus will be mostly on the purifications. But it starts with, that. So, so if we, you must have the English there. So in the first verse of the second chapter, it says, in order to seize the precious mind. So, in order to maintain and hold that precious bodhicitta mind, that is precious because it is the source of all the happiness of oneself and all others. So in order to seize that precious mind, I offer now to the Tathagata. So then making offering to the three jewels, making offering to the Tathagatas, the Buddha, and then to the sacred Dharma, the stainless jewel, so the Dharma, that is the wisdom realizing the emptiness, the cessation and the path. So that is the Dharma. And the Buddha, and then to the sons of Buddha, the ocean of excellence. Sometimes, the son of the Buddha, I don't know whether it's a literal translation, but I think it's not the really meaning. It is the children of the Buddha that refer to bodhisattvas. Okay. So in Tibetan is Gyaltse. Se is son, but sometimes it can refer, it's not only just the son, it can refer to others. So I think the better translation with children of the Buddha, basically it's saying the bodhisattvas, So the bodhisattvas who are the ocean of excellence, who have incredible qualities, positive qualities, So making offering to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and the Sangha here mainly the Bodhisattvas. Okay, so starting with that offerings. Then next is and then next is making a more kind of specific kind of offerings, and the offering of first describing the object that we are going to offer, So here what we are going to offer is, whatever flowers, fruits there are, all kind of flowers, all kind of fruits, whatever kind of medicine, whether it is a natural plant-based medicine or is made from others, different things. Whatever jewels exist in the world, whatever precious jewels, such as gold, silver, diamond, and so forth. And whatever clean, refreshing waters, so whatever clean, refreshing, clean, drinkable waters that you find from the clean, unpolluted waters, so forth. Likewise, gem encrusted mountains, the mountains like a mine, that there is full of gems in the mountains. Forest groves, quiet and joyful places, so sometimes when you go into the mountains, you find some places very quiet, very joyful, very peaceful things. You can imagine all of those, whether it is in the forest, whether it is by the oceans, wherever find that you find some joy and peace, you can offer all of them, heavenly trees bedecked with the flowers, and then, you can see sometime, in a fall, you can see all over where there's so much flowers, beautiful flowers, sometimes we see ourselves, sometimes we see in the image, so you can think of all those flowers, tree with the fruit-laden branches, so full of fruit, and each of those fruit trees are full of so much, all kind of fruits. So you can think all of them. Fragrance of the celestial realms, incense, wishing trees, so wish-granting trees that grant everyone's wishes, and the jewel trees, and the tree of the Lama Tsongkhapa merit field, which is made out of different jewels. The trunk is made of one jewels, the branch are made of another jewels, the leaves are made of another jewels, the flowers are made of another jewels, the fruit are made of, so whole tree is made of all kind of different jewels, so that is what jewel trees. And uncultivated harvest, that uncultivated harvest that, you don't have to work hard, but naturally comes, and inexhaustible kind of that. And all ornaments, all kind of ornaments, precious ornaments that are worthy to be offered, and everything that can be offered, something that is object worthy to be offered, we offer that, and also, lakes, or beach, oceans, pools adorned with the lotus, and the beautiful cry of wild geese, so in the pools, lakes, in the oceans, beautiful birds, natural beautiful birds, singings, and so on. Everything's unowned within the limitless sphere of space. So everything that is owned is something that is unowned by private, is like the public, everything that is public. That means that is owned by everyone's, is not private, but is owned by everyone. So that is what it means. Unowned by, is not owned by privately. So therefore it's a public, and therefore it belongs to everyone. So therefore it also belongs to us in some way, and therefore we can offer it, because it is something also, it belongs to us. as a being a public, it belongs to the public, and we are part of that. And so therefore, that is why we can visualize, imagine, and then offer as not just one of each of those offerings, not just one, but the whole space field of each of those offerings, all those different, as equal as space, you know. And so that is how we try to make offering, imagining and visualizing, and all of those offering and then offerings, you know. So those are the objects that we are going to offer, those different worthy of offering that are public, that is owned by everyone, therefore it is also owned by us. That, and how we are going to offer is then, you know, creating those things in my mind, I offer them. So those we cannot offer directly in physical, but then we imagine and visualize within our mind, we create in our mind, and through our mind, that is how we offer, you know, creating those things in my mind, I offer them. And to whom we offer, the object is to the supreme beings, you know. And who are the supreme beings? The Buddhas of all 10 directions, of 3 times, past, present, future Buddhas, as well as their sons, or the Bodhisattvas, you know, as well as the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the compassionate ones. So then, you know, those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who are compassionate, unconditional, who have unconditional compassion to each and every sentient beings, compassionate one, think kindly of me, please kind. So we make that request from our side and accept those offering of minds. And then, you know, even though the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they don't need offerings from themselves, but then, you know, I'm going to offer to create merit myself. So please accept it. Even if you don't need it, please accept it for me, because it helped me to create merit. And why I need to create merit? To cultivate the Bodhisattva mind, and to maintain the Bodhisattva mind, and to improve and increase the Bodhisattva mind. And so that is, and therefore, you know, please accept. So make, and then you can also making that request, and then you can also visualize the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas delightfully, joyfully accepting your requests and your offerings, you know. Of course, even if we don't visualize it, the Buddha will delightfully accept it for our benefit. But if we visualize and if we do that, then it becomes even more powerful practice. And so then we try to visualize them accepting delightfully, and for our benefit, you know. So yeah, so that is so why don't we offer actually really something, you know, something? Why do we need to offer mentally all these, you know, all these offerings that is kind of, as I said, unowned by privately, but that it belongs to everyone? Why do we need to practice, visualize in our mind and think, and then offer that? And so then there here it says, number 7, having no merits, I'm destitute, you know. So as much as I would like to offer everything, but I don't have everything that I imagine in my mind, you know. Those things doesn't belong to me. I don't have all of that. So therefore, having no merit, and I don't have all this because I don't have enough merit from the past, and therefore that, and I have no other gifts to offer in actual, you know. And therefore, protectors, you who think of helping others by your power, accept this from my sake. So, you know, so you always, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you always have the intentions or the wish to help and benefit. And with understanding my situations, please accept all the offering that I have mentally imagined and offer it. So here, what it means is, you know, of course, you know, if we can, if we can, uh, if we have the resource, and if we can, we try to make real offering as much as possible, you know. If we can, you know, every day we can make offerings of light, incense, you know, food, water, you know, music, whatever different offering that we can try to make those offering, arrange those offering every day if we can. At least maybe water bowls, you know, those we can offer, you know. So whatever we can whatever we can, according to our ability, you know, according to our ability, you know, our resources, we try to do offering as much as possible in actual, you know. But if you don't have any resource, also, that shouldn't stop you from making offering and creating merit. We can still continue to create merit, even you don't have any resource, by imagining and making offering like that, as explained here. For example, Milarepa, he owned nothing. He didn't have anything to offer in actual, because of reality that he didn't have anything. But still he created enough merit through other practices, through, like here, offering by imagining and visualizing and making offerings, and other practices as well. And so therefore, not having resource shouldn't stop you from creating merit and by making offerings. At the same time, if you have a resource, and then I'm saying I'm destitute, I don't have resource, it will be a kind of misleading and lying, you know. And so therefore, we try to create as much merit as possible. Creating merit is not for yourself, creating merit for all sentient beings. You know, you want to be more benefit to others, we need more merit. You want to achieve all these realizations, such as Bodhisattva, wisdom, we need the merit. We want to achieve enlightenment, we need the merit. And so therefore, that is why it's okay. So so even so, next one, offering of your own body or your life, you know. So even we do not have any resource, you know, external resource to make offerings. Even if we do not have any external resource to make an offering, at least we have our body. We own our body. We own our life and our body. At least we can offer that. And so that is what is here, next one, verse number 8. Eternally shall I offer all my bodies to the conqueror, the Buddhas, and their son, the Bodhisattvas. You know, so our present body and all the past body, all the future bodies, so bodies, all different bodies that we have taken, you know, all different lives we have taken, so we can make those offerings. You know, we make those offerings because that one, even you don't have any other external resource, at least you will have that body, that life. You know, so there is something we can offer. And then why you offer, you know, and so I'm offering those, and please accept me, you know, the Buddha's Bodhisattvas, please accept me, you supreme heroes, you know, and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are the true heroes who give everything for the benefit of sentient beings without any selfish attitude, you know, only for others. And respectfully shall I be your subjects. So here's I'm giving up myself and my body to you, offering to you, and then now please accept me as your subjects, as your servant. I'm now service to you. Now I'm dedicating to you, and now I'm servant to you. You know, through being completely under care. Now, you know, my life, my body belong to you. I've offered to you, now it belongs to you. And now me being belong to you, now, I'm under the care of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, under the care of that, under the guidance of that. And so through being completely under your care, I shall benefit all with no fear of conditioned existence. So now, because I'm under the care of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I don't need to have any fear in a samsara. No need to have a fear, because you are under total guidance and total care of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And when you are under the total care of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then there's no need to be fear. And without any kind of fear and worries and all in this samsara, the only job is to help and benefit other sentient beings, because that is the way to be service to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas' job, their responsibility, their job is to help and benefit others. And now I'm being service to you, dedicated to you, so I will follow whatever you want me to do. And what you want me to do is to be help and benefit others. And so when we try to help and benefit others, sometimes we might have fear, a lot of fears. And so here say, you don't have to have the fear. You don't need to have the fear, because you are under total guidance and care of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So again, to ourselves, we always try to, when you have any fear, when you have any kind of fear arises, we can think the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are there, always watching you, always taking care of you, always under the watchful eyes of them, under the care of them, under the guidance of them. And so through that, so that I shall benefit all with no fear of conditioned existence, I shall perfect, and then, I shall perfectly transcend my previous evils, So whatever negative karma that we might have created, in the past, whatever created that we have created knowingly, unknowingly, whatever negative karma that we might have created, whatever non-virtuous actions we might have created, I shall perfectly transcend my previous evils, purify them, and in the future shall commit no more. And in the future, I will try all my best not to create any negative karma. So basically, what he's saying now, because now I've offered myself and dedicate myself to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I will try to do that please them. I will try to do only that please them. And what please them is to help and benefit other sentient beings, and not to create any more negative karma. And whatever negative karma we might have created in the past, we try to purify that. And so that is, if we do that, then all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will be very pleased. Just like the parents would be very pleased with the child if the child follow their advice, what they want them to do, And so that is, similarly, and then again, there is kind of more offerings, there are again more offerings, and so there are 12 different kind of offerings, to very sweetly scented So first offerings is a bath offerings, and before we offer a bath offering, first visualizing the bath chamber, beautiful bath chamber where your bath is offered. So that is what. To a very sweetly scented bathing chambers with a brilliantly sparkling crystal floors, so you can imagine, visualize, this bathing place made of these crystal floors, jewels, and very sweetly scented, and healing water, very healing waters, executive pillars blessed with the gems, and having canopies above a glow with the pearls. And so you can visualize as beautiful as you can with all these precious jewels. And then once you have visualized that, then you can create the place for them to sit while they are bathing, and then you invite them for the bath. I beseech Tathagatas and their sons, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to come and bath their entire bodies, their bodies. Again, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they don't need, the Buddha, especially the Buddha, they don't need to wash their bodies. It's unstained, undirt by itself. But again, is to create merit for ourselves. Is to create merit for ourselves, to be able to do that. From many jewels baths. So then once you visualize and you imagine they're coming, and then you offer the bath offerings. So it is an old style, not shower, now you have you pour the water, and the pour the water is with the bath, and the bath is made out of, where is that? From many jewels vase filled with water, scented and intensing to the accompaniment of the music and songs. So you can visualize, offering the bath, again, very scented nectars, healing, relaxing by pouring that waters, and then, and at the same time, while you are pouring the waters and giving the bath, at the same time, there is a music and the songs, beautiful music, songs, and then after offering of the bath, then, the offering of the dry cloth to dry the body. Let me dry their bodies with incomparable clothes, which is very, soothing and very smooth, clean and well anointed with the scent. And then, you can visualize like the towels, very soft towel, very soothing and soft towel, peaceful, filled with the scented, and then offering that. And then making offering of the garment, the robes. And then may I present those holy beings with a fragrant garment of suitable color. So you can visualize making offerings of the garments, so suitable colors, suitable designs, for example, in terms of the Buddhas, for those who are in a Sambhoga Kaya form, you offer them celestial garments, and for those who are Nirvana Kaya, you offer them monk's robe, and same with the Bodhisattvas. For those Bodhisattvas, lay Bodhisattvas, you offer them garments, celestial garment. For those Bodhisattvas who are the monks, then you offer them monk's robe, So that is what it means by suitable color and suitable, whatever is suitable for of those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, okay? And then next is offering of the ornaments. I adorn with a manifold ornament and various raiment, fine and smooth. And so, ornament, for example, again, those are in Sambhoga. You have the crown ornaments, ear ornaments, the necklace for the hand, and all those different 6, 7 different ornaments. You can make offering of that. And for those who are Nirvana Kayas, they don't have those ornaments. So you can make offering their implement for like for those baking, I don't know, baking, the baking bowls, like for such as baking bowls, and some other Buddhas, whatever implement their holdings, so making offering of that, those different implements, because they don't have the rope, they don't have the ornaments, but you can offer them, so for those. And to Arya Samanbhadaras and Menju Gosha or the Menjushiri, Avalokiteshvara and all the others. So here, such as there are the Bodhisattvas, such as sometimes known as 8 Bodhisattvas, that was around the Buddhas when the Buddha was teaching, 8 Bodhisattvas. So among those 8 Bodhisattvas, Samanbhadara, Menjushiri, Avalokiteshvara, Vajrapani, Aganishta, Siddhigarbhas, and so forth. There are 8 of them. So for them, all of those bodhisattvas, we make those offerings. And then offering the perfume, just like polishing pure and refined gold. Do I honor the Buddha's form with the blessed with the light, with the choicest perfume that fragrance permit 1,000 miles, millions worlds, So again, it's not just a ordinary frequency and ordinary, like, it's such that even in this very small amount that the smell is so strong that it permeates whole world, but like, it's not so strong, sometimes people come with scent so strong, you get allergies, not like that, but something subtle, but very nice, anyone, And to the highest objects of giving, I offer beautiful, well-arranged garlands, as well as enchanting, sweet-smelling flowers. So again, making offering of flowers, so spreading the flowers or general flower blast or the ornament garlands of the flowers, that in the old style in India, how they used to do that. So all kind of those kind of different, such as lilies, jasmines, and lotus blooms, whatever flower you like, whatever flower you enjoy, you can make all those offerings. And again, offering of incense. Also, I send forth the clouds of incense whose sweet aroma still await the mind, and then as well as food, as well as the celestial delicious, including variety of food and drinks, so food and drinks, especially whatever you enjoy. It is nice to offer, especially those we enjoy, whether it's a food, drink, whether it's a flower, whether it's incense, whatever you enjoy, whatever you like most, we try to offer those, mostly that. And then offering the lamp, I offer them jewel lamp arranged on the golden lotus buds, And then upon land sprinkled with the scented water, do I scatter delicious flower petals. And then next is offering of the palace, celestial palace or palace. To those who have the natural compassion, so the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I offer palace surrounded by the melodious hums, God and goddesses singing and dancing, exquisitely illuminated by the hanging pearls and gems that adorn with the infinite of the space. So that is offering of the palace. Then offering of the umbrella. Internally shall I offer to all the Buddhas jewel umbrella with the golden handles, an executed ornament embellishing the rims, standing erect, they shape beautiful to behold. And then making offering of the music, and in addition, may a mass of offering resounding with the sweet and pleasant offering, like clouds that appease the misery of all, and each remain for as long as necessary. And so then blessing all the offerings, blessing all the offerings to be as equal as the spaces and to be there all the time. And so that is the next. And may a continuing rains of flowers and precious gems descend upon the, yeah, I think the verse number 20 is that one. Clouds of abysses of misery of all, and each offerings remain as for as long as necessary. So that is the blessing. And may the continue of rain of flowers, precious gems descend upon the reliquaries, reliquaries and the statues, and upon all the jewels of the Dharma. So reliquaries are the stupas, that represents the Buddha's enlightened mind, the Buddha's enlightened minds, and the statues, the image of the Buddhas, whether it's a statue or whether it's a painting or drawings, statues. So making offering to all of that. And upon all the jewels of Dharma, and then making offering to the Dharmas, the scriptures, and so forth. And so, Buddha himself has said, when I'm no more in the world, by making offering to the stupas that represent holy mind, and that also contain the relic and so forth, and the statues and the image is as same as making offering to me directly, because it represents. So therefore, again, that is something sometimes we have to remember that, isn't it? We will be happy to be able to make offering to someone, really our guru, for example. But we might not feel the same enthusiasm to the image of the guru, isn't it? Because we don't feel like we are really making offering to them. Same, we will be so enthusiastic to be able to make offering to the Buddha if Buddha is alive in this world. But we might not feel same enthusiasm to the stupa or statues that represent him, So, but Buddha himself has said, there's no difference. There's no difference whether you make offering direct to him or something that represents him, such as statues, stupas, So again, if we can recollect, if we can remember that, then maybe we can generate an enthusiasm to make offering every day in that, And so that is what we need, the enthusiasm, And so next is verse number 23 is a peerless, in a special peerless offerings and mentally imagining, in the same way as Menjushiri and others, sometimes others here, Samanta Badara, like in you see, in the King of the Prayer, we hear about Samanta Badara's offerings, so Samanta Badara's offerings is like, from his heart, he manifests one light. From that one light, it manifests two light. From two light, it manifests four light. From 4, 8. From 8, 16. From 16, 20, 34. And then that expand and expand and expand and fill the whole space. That is what the Samanta Bhadaras and great highly realized Bodhisattvas, they can manifest those offerings like that. At the moment, we cannot manifest that at the moment, but we can visualize like that. Do you get it? We cannot actually manifest in actions because we have not reached that high level of the realizations, unlike like those high realized Bodhisattvas. But we can imagine that, visualize and imagine like them, and thereby, but the highly realized Bodhisattvas, they are not just imagine, but they can create and manifest those offering like that, endless offering like that. So that is Samanta Badara offering. So that's what is here mean here. Same way as Menjushiri and other Samanta Bhadaras and have made offering to the conquerors, the Buddhas. Similarly, I bestow gifts or the offerings abound the Tathagatas, the Buddhas, the protectors, and their son, and all the holy objects to. So then, in our cases, we just imagine and visualize. We can take few moments to just imagine and visualize and making the offerings, fill with the whole space, and not only making the offerings, then also the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas accepting those offerings and generating a great bliss and voidness or emptiness in their heart. So doing that visualization also become more powerful practice. If we can take some moments to do that kind of imagining visualization, your practice become more effective, more stronger, more powerful. And so we try to do that. After the offerings, then, it is making the prostrations, okay? Paying homage and prostrations. And when we talk about the prostrations, maybe before we come to the prostration, maybe let me just, in terms of the offerings, the offerings is when we do the offerings with the right intentions and correctly from our heart, then that offering is the antidote towards miserliness. Miserliness is a state of mind, stinginess, miserliness, where we feel I don't have enough to offer. I don't have enough to offer. The feeling of, the feeling of the stinginess of miserliness, the feeling, I would like to offer, but I don't have enough to offer. I wish I could offer if I have enough. That is how sometimes don't we feel that? I feel sometimes like that. I wish I could make more offering if I have more. So there is a sense of mind where you feel I don't have enough to offer. That is kind of stinginess or miserliness. So the offerings is to counteract that stinginess and that miserliness and feeling, oh, I have more than enough to offer. Feeling abundance, feeling there's more than enough for me to be able to make offerings. And so by training in that way, with the right intention, with the right state of mind, then it becomes a remedy and antidote and counteract that kind of miserliness and stinginess. So that is the offerings, So next one, as I mentioned, next two verses is paying homage and prostrations. And when you talk about prostrations, again, there is a prostration of body, speech, and mind. Okay. And also offering can be also offering of body, speech, and mind too. Mentally imagining is a mental offerings, then actually offering whatever actual offerings, whatever is a food, flower, incense, water, light, that is you can say the physical. And then while we are offering, we recite certain verses. That is offering by verbally, And the same way in terms of prostration, there's body, speech, and mind, And mind is by recollecting the positive qualities of the objects, such here the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by recollecting their incredible qualities, inner qualities, then generating strong faith and respect. Strong faith and respect from your heart is a frustration with your mind, And then reciting praise or qualities of reciting all their qualities, whether you call it praise or not, but reciting that is a prostration through the speech. So that is what it is. I glorify the oceans of excellence, So with the limitless verses of harmonious praises, So we can chant. You can chant very nicely if you can, chant very nicely. Or even you can't chant very nicely, you can recite, all the verses, very nice verses that talks about the incredible, endless qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or three jewels. May those cloud of gentle elogies constantly ascend to their presence. So that is the um, the frustration through speech, and then frustration with the body. With the bodies as numberless as all atoms within the universe, I prostrate to the Buddhas of the three times, so past, present, futures, and 10 direction, the Dharma, so the Dharma, whether it is the path and cessations, or the scriptures that explain how to develop the path and the cessations, and the supreme community, the Sangha, and especially here the supreme community, the Sangha of the Bodhisattvas. So again, we can visualize while you do the prostration, and again, there is prostration, full stretch prostration, half prostrations physically, or if you cannot prostrate, you can just fold hand together. That is also prostrations. Sometimes one of your hand is busy with doing something, even with one hand holding that, and then bowing down is a prostration. So it's a paying a respect, and paying a respect. While we do that, whatever form of prostration we do, we can visualize, yourself as equal as atoms. So countless yourself frustrating. Even you are frustrating one person at the moment, but in your mind, you can visualize and you can think, as equal as atoms, frustrating yourself, paying homage, bowing. By doing that, you create that equal amount of merit as we post. So that's and as it is says in the King of the Prayer, I don't know, sometimes, we might not feel comfortable visualizing that, but if you don't feel uncomfortable, as it says in King of the Prayers, many head, as equal of you, as equal as the atoms. In each of you, countless head. Not just one head, many head. And not only many head, in each of head, many, many tongues that recite all these prayers and all this, so that is one way of doing it that is described. But I think for some people, it might be uncomfortable in visualizing with many head and many tongues, So it doesn't matter if you don't feel comfortable, but you can visualize as equal as yourself as atoms, and then doing those frustrations. And frustrations is an antidote towards our ego mind, pride, pride, our egoistic mind, the pride, where we feel, I don't need to respect anyone. I don't need to bow to anyone. Why should I bow to someone? Why should I bow someone? I'm not less than them if I'm not better than them. Why should I bow to someone? Why should I show that respect? So there is, when we have strong egoistic mind, when you have strong kind of pride in that way, then that's what happens. So when we do the prostration, we bow down. When we bow down and when we pay respect in that, then it helps us to reduce that kind of egoistic and pride mind. If we do properly, Of course, if we do it because it's just a tradition, it's just a culture, then of course it doesn't really, you just do it, even you don't want to bow it, you just do it because it's culture. Do you get it? It's the traditions, it's a way of doing things. then it doesn't really become an antidote or remedy for our pride and egoistic mind. But if we do with really from our heart, with deep heart, because we regard that object very highly, because we respect that object very highly, because we hold that object higher and supreme, because we hold that object as worthy of our bowing and respect. With that understanding, with that feeling, if we kind of do prostration, bowing, then definitely it becomes an antidote and remedy for the egoistic mind, and Mm. And we can check our mind. Sometimes it's interesting. How our egoistic mind, our pride come. If I see someone senior monks, and if I'm supposed to prostrate to them, but if he or she is not my teacher, or if he or she is, that I don't have high respect, then I might have little ego wanting to prostrate and bow down, He's not my teacher, or he's not someone I hold very highly or something, So there is sense of that. Why should I bow down? Why should I prostrate? That is just a symptom. It is a symptom of your egoistic mind, your pride, That shows that, I have a resistance to bow down to someone. Do you get it? I have some resistance to bow down. And the resistance comes because of that, pride, because when you bow down, it's a sign you hold them higher, supreme. On the other hand, when we have pride and egoistic mind, we want to be seen as we are the supreme, not the other one, I'm better, I'm more supreme. They should bow me, they should respect me, not me the other way around, So that is how we feel, So that is how it is. So it is not just those practices such as making offerings and prostrations. From externally, it might just look like it's just a, some kind of physical actions, behavior, nothing to do with our practice, nothing to do with our mind. Do you get it? There's a lot of misunderstanding among many peoples. Oh, it's not really Dharma. Real Dharma is to work with your mind. Do you get it? There are a lot of misunderstanding, or people who think, oh, it's not necessary, it's not important. The important is working with your mind. But if we do correctly, all of this is working with our mind, is working with our mighty listening mind, is working with our pride, egoistic mind, all of that. Okay, so then next one, again, frustrating, Likewise, I prostrate to all the really queries, the basis of all awakened minds, so really queries such as stupas, stupas. So the basis of awakened mind, the base of awakened mind is, anything that help us to develop Bodhisattva mind, for example, such as the teachings, the scriptures, Dharma, the Dharma, the teachings, because there are the main conditions that inspire us to practice and to cultivate the awakening mind of the Bodhisattva. Or such as our teachers, such as our teachers that might inspire us, that might be the conditions for us to get inspiration to practice the Dharma, to practice the Bodhisattva mind, and to cultivate the Bodhisattva mind. Or it could be our Dharma brother, sister members, that someone who is very kind, compassionate, Bodhisattva, and that inspire you. I wish I could be like him or her. And I want to be like him or her, you know. And so that give you inspirations, that give you inspiration to practice and to cultivate the Bodhisattva mind. Or it could be the stupa or statues. When you look at the statue and when you look at the stupa, that remind you the Buddha's holy mind, his enlightenment, and his incredible Bodhisattva in his practice. And you want to be like him. You want to be like him. You want to reach like him. And then that become inspirations for, you know. And so that those, any of those objects, you know, whether it could be a Sangha member, it could be our teachers, it could be the scriptures, it could be any teachings or any other holy objects that kind of inspire you to practice and cultivate the Bodhisattva mind. So prostrating to that, bowing down to that, because it is such a, it is such a great on our practice, you know. And also to the all learned efforts, you know. So to all the learned efforts, here is those who give us the, you know, the vows, you know, the vows, you know. So from whom we receive the vows and precepts, you know, whether it can be lay, you know, it can be such as, you know, receiving the refuge vows, lay vows, you know, or Mahana precepts and so forth, you know, other form of vows, you know, both sort of vows, tantric vows, whatever, different precept vows, and the masters, you know, the masters who teach us the Lamrim, you know, the graduate path, the sutras, as well as the tantras, the path, you know, so all of that. So we make, no, I think maybe I went down. To all learned abbot and masters, and to all noble practitioners, yeah. And then to all the other noble practitioners who are trying to be better persons, who are trying to be more compassionate persons, who are trying to be more kind persons, who are trying to be more benefit to others, who are trying to change their mind, attitude to become better, and those who are on the spiritual path, those who are on the path, who are on, so we prostrate to them. Those, all of them are object of our vows, object of our prostrations, object of our respect, you know. So then going for the refuge. I seek refuge in the Buddhas until I possess the essence of the enlightenment. Okay, so likewise, I seek refuge in Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. So we can say from here, then it actually starts the purifications. Okay. The actual purification start from here. Okay. And when we, for the purifications, whatever different purification that we might, you know, there are many different purification practices. There are many different purification practices. Whatever form of different purification practices you do, the most important things is that it need to be, when you do purification practice, the need of the four open-end powers. We call the four open-end powers, okay? The need to have all those open-end powers part of your practice of purifications. So among that, The power of reliance on the objects is the one. The power of regret, the power of resolutions, and the power of the antidotes. So those four need to be there in your practice, whatever form of different purification practice you might do. If you have all these four conditions, all this power there, then your purification become effective, more powerful, more effective. If one of those conditions are missing, your purification becomes less effective. If two of those conditions are missing, then it becomes even less effective. And three missing, then even less effective. And so we need to gather, we need to have all four conditions. And not only we have all the four conditions, when those conditions are more strong and sincerely, each of them, the practice becomes more powerful, more effective. When those conditions, even is there, but if they're not strong, it becomes a little bit less effective, less powerful. If one of those or one of those conditions are not sincerely, then again, it becomes less effective. If it's more stronger and sincere, genuine, then it becomes more powerful. And so that is the very important that we have to remember as part of purification, whatever. And within the purification, the Buddha said, in order to purify the negative karma that we have already created in the past, So anyway, before maybe let me maybe say that, out of great compassion, Buddha's great compassion and his wisdom and skillful means, he show us that not to engage into any kind of unskillful, unhealthy, unwholesome, negative actions. Okay? He encouraged us, he advised us, he gave instructions not to create anything unhealthy, unskillful, unwholesome, non-virtuous actions through any of three doors, body, speech, and mind. Because when you engage into any of those actions, either it hurt and harm both others and oneself, or others or oneself. It hurts someone. It hurts and harms someone. Sometimes it hurts and harms both. Sometimes it hurts and harms others. Sometimes it hurts and harms oneself. But it always hurts and harms someone. So therefore, he discouraged not to do that, and he give way. He give not only he said you shouldn't create that, but he give a method how not to do that. But what about that we have already created before? Now I know how to not to create negative karma now, but I didn't know that before. And I have already created so many of them. And the imprint are still in my mind stream. So what to do about that? Even with that, then the Buddha gave a method how to purify them. How to purify them. The Buddha gave a method, how to purify them. And so that is how to purify them. So that is where the purification comes, the purification comes, And so the Buddha gave, Buddha said, as a way to purify your negative karma, engaging any virtue, any kind of virtues, as a way to purify is an antidote to purify, is a purification, is an antidote. Okay. But there are specific certain practice that are more powerful. And so in the Shantidevas, one of his other writings, loved it, the continuum of the training, in that he, from the different sutra sources, he takes 6 different way of purifications, relying on the name. For example, that is like how, for example, reciting the 35 Buddha names and doing prostrations. That is one way purification. Relying on the mantras, that is, by reciting Bodhisattva's processes, Bodhisattva mantras, and then doing the purification by relying on the Bodhisattvas, And then meditating on emptiness is another powerful purifications, And then, as a purification, creating holy objects, whether we are building a stupas or statues or printing a Dharma books as a way of purification. So relying on the holy objects, and so forth, So they are, and then as a purification, making a extensive offering to the holy objects, making an extensive offering to the holy objects. And then reciting the sutras as a purification, such as reciting the Dhammakata sutras, Heart sutras, and then there is a sutra for purification. So those are the main kind of 6 that Shantideva explained, that he took from the different sutra sources. And so any of those practice, as a purifications. But whatever purification you do, any of them, you can choose to do any of them, but the 4 opponent power is crucial for any of those practice to become powerful and effective. So I think maybe today, we'll leave here. If there is any questions, I will be more than happy to take questions. Any questions or comments? Anything to share? Most welcome.
Yes. May I ask?
Yes,
please? Thank
yes,
you.
Please.
That was wonderful. I had some problems with internet, but I got most of it. Would you please just briefly review the 4 conditions again? My internet went out just when you were doing that.
Yes.
The 4 conditions for empowerment.
Yes.
For purification, please.
Yes. The first one is, we call the power reliance, sometimes objects, the power reliance the objects. That is where the refuge comes. Okay, so that is where the starting of this comes, So the power of, in many translations, in Tibetan, then in many translations, they say it's power of reliance or power of objects, So that is the first one. Second is the power of the regret or the remorse. So regret or remorse of our negative karma, whatever we have created.
Okay.
And third one is the power of resolutions. And so that is to make a resolution that we will not make the same mistake, that we will not create the same negative karma again in the future,
Correct.
And the fourth one is the opponent power of antidote. So as a way to purify, as an antidote, then as I mentioned, there are many different practice as an antidote. So many virtues, but especially here I mentioned the six different practices. So those are the 4 opponent powers or conditions.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Yes, thank you. Any others?
I have a question.
Yes, Brittany.
Very much for your teaching. I had a question about a word. I'm looking at a different version here on verse 23, but also in the PDF Andrew and Carly shared. It uses the word eulogy. in the third line of verse 23. And I could be wrong, but in my mind, eulogy has a kind of a connotation of mourning. Maybe I'm wrong, but Geshe, would you please explain maybe just that third line, may these clouds of gentle eulogy.
Okay, let me see the Tibetan.
Okay.
Okay. Mình cái rồi sinh là tuyên yang lao giả số tự tuyên yang nhận tin để đó là nhẹ và quân đội chung chủ chi. Cloud of gender illusion. Tuyên yang nhận tin để đó là. I don't know, in Tibetans, I mean, in Tibetan is very beautiful sound of the praise, the clouds of soothing or very, soothing or nice sounds of the praise. So I don't know whether that word come anything there.
Yeah, but maybe just that word eulogy, at least as I understand in English, has kind of a different meaning. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Nyen is Nyenbo is kind of nice sounding, soothing soundings, so it's a praise of that. So the clouds of that. So yeah, I don't know exactly the translations. Yeah.
Thank you.
So any other questions?
Geshe?
Yes, who is that?
Dashi Delay, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just one comment on eulogy. The definition of eulogy is praise. You said praise. I think it's as Bethany said, it's typically associated, I think, in the West with at funerals, but you're actually praising that person. So, but the definition is actually praise. Okay,
so great. So I think it seems to be, I wasn't sure the translation after I heard morning, so about that. Yeah. So, okay. So then,
and Geshe, this is a little off topic, and well, not off topic. You mentioned it, but just a brief, maybe some clarification on the three kayas. I mean, I understand a little bit of my understanding. Nirmanakaya, I think, is human or Bodhisattva, but the other two kayas, and I think it's enjoyment and essence, or I forget the three. I don't, just briefly, what is the I don't know if the word's purpose, but behind the three kayas? Why did the Buddha manifest in three kayas?
So that we can go in the oceans or lake to do kayas.
Oh, we need to do that. Come on, go to Tahoe and do some kayaking on kayas in the lake. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Dharmakaya. Maybe it might be too much. Dharmakaya has two: natural Dharmakaya and wisdom Dharmakaya. Okay. And it's the Buddha's enlightened wisdom. Dharmakaya is Buddha's enlightened mind. Okay. and natural Dharmakaya is the emptiness or ultimate nature of that wisdom Dharmakaya, okay? So, but basically that is Dharmakaya, okay? So, but the Buddha's mind cannot be read by the sentient beings, yeah? Sentient beings does not have access to the Buddha's mind. And so just the mind itself cannot help the sentient beings directly. And so Buddha has to manifest into some form that the sentient being can see and come into contact, and that they can kind of receive the help. So from there, the manifestation Sambhogakaya, Longzhu Zobeku is all enjoyment body, or Sambhogakaya, okay? And that Sambhogakaya, again, not every sentient being has access to that Sambhogakaya. Only the highly realized Arya Bodhisattvas has access to that. The Arya Bodhisattvas can see the Sambhogakaya Buddha and receive the teachings and all the things. Okay, so we, even though Sambhogakaya is there, we cannot see it because of our karma have obscured it. Our karma has obscured us from seeing them and receiving the teachings and getting the benefit. And so therefore then Buddha from Sambhogakaya cannot be seen by all sentient beings and cannot experience receive the benefit by ordinary sentient beings. Then Buddha manifests as a Nirmanakaya. That is called emanations body. So then he manifests as an ordinary, like the Buddha Shakyamuni is example of that. That is a Nirmanakaya. Even the ordinary sentient beings can see him, can listen to him, and can receive from him. Okay? And so that is a Nirmanakaya. So he manifested in a different form to guide and lead different level of sentient beings. And so that is the purpose of that. That is the purpose of that. So within the then Nirmanakaya, then Buddha can manifest in many different forms, that way sentient beings can see. As a monk, as a lay person, and as an artist, as all different forms, Yeah. So did that clear?
Crystal clear, Geshe. TJJ, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I think maybe we can do the dedications. Again, I will chant in Tibetan. You can join me or recite in English. Yawadi nyoto da lama sangye du gyo ne do wa chi kya ma le ba de sa la kwe bara sho chanjo sem cho rimpo che ma ke pa na ke gyo che ke wa nyam ba me ba yang. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. And good afternoon, Steve. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See you next week. Thank you. Take care. Bye.